Hello everyone and welcome back to the Common Sense Crypto channel. As with you always, this is Rich doing another video today on XRP. So I hope you're all having a wonderful day today wherever you are in this great world. We're gonna talk about XRP. And you know, the Motley Fool absolutely hates XRP. But couldn't they come up with an even dumber title than this? Should you buy XRP while it's still below $3? No, you should absolutely wait until the price is back above $3 and then go all in. They act like XRP is never going back above $3 ever again. You know, I remember when XRP was going sideways around 50 cents for over 2 years. And people kept saying, XRP's a dead cryptocurrency. Dump it now while you still can. It's never going to go back above $1 again. And guess what happened? XRP proved them wrong. And they're going to prove the Motley Fool wrong once again. Because when the breakout begins, XRP is quickly going to head well above $3. And what I thought was going to happen just happened. So Ripple escrow activity. Now we know the 1 billion tokens got unlocked. And Ripple locked back in 700 million XRP. Now a lot of people said that once the escrow unlock happens, that Ripple is going to leave all 1 billion out there in circulation, because the over-the-counter desk are running out of XRP. Same thing with the dark pools. So the fact that Ripple just locked back in another 700 million tokens and left 300 million out in circulation, that means that we could see scarcity sooner than we thought. And I knew they were going to lock back XRP. Ripple uses that escrow strategically. They're not going to leave it out there in circulation. XRP, possible top price scenarios if Swift selects XRP to power cross-border liquidity. Honestly, here's the way I look at this. I think over time, Ripple is going to capture a lot of Swift's business. People are fed up with Swift. They don't like the wait times. They don't like how high the fees are, and they already want an alternative. I said Ripple early on is going to capture 10% of Swift's business. Now, if that was to happen, there's a good chance we head well above 3 digits. But this article says that we're going to capture even more, and XRP is going to $682.16. But when is this going to happen? First of all, I think we need regulations in place first. Then the banks need to come out of the testing phase on the private ledger. That will really get things going. But along the way, we're going to see customer after customer leaving Swift and using the alternative, RippleNet and XRP, even RippleNet and RLUSD. But this is going to happen quickly when it happens. And I think we're literally only 12 to 24 months away from Ripple stealing a lot of Swift's business. Once XRP is at a high enough price, I think it's going to happen very fast. Cardano founder teases fun 2026 plan for XRP, calls XRP holders friendly. I like this new Charles, because there was a time where Charles would piss off every single XRP holder out there. But he wants to add DeFi to XRP. He wants to allow holders to earn yield and so on. And we already see that coming with Flare as well. But Charles, he wants to do a lot for the entire community. That's what I like about Charles. He's kind of like Brad. They want a level playing field. They want to keep retail in focus so retail can capitalize on this at the same time. I'm excited to see where Cardano goes in 2026. I want to see how it benefits and brings even more utility to XRP as well in 2026. $1,000 per XRP is clout chasing. Where do people pull out these ridiculous targets? So Jake Claver said that he'll take XRP for $1,000 as Kiyosaki warns traditional markets to deflate. But when somebody says that, right, $1,000 per XRP, people right away dismiss it. They can never see us reaching those price points. But all it would take is the IMF to utilize XRP as an ESDR. There's multiple paths to $1,000 XRP. And the way I look at it as an XRP investor, it's always been about the what ifs. What if the IMF does that? What if all the escrow is already accounted for? What if it ends up in the hands of the World Bank, the IMF, the ECB, the Fed, and so on? We really don't know. But one thing is for sure, XRP is the future, and it's going to be moving a hell of a lot of value. Tokenized assets alone coming to the XRP ledger is going to be in the trillions. Then you start to look at the derivatives market, unlocking the Nostro Vostro accounts, bringing all that liquidity back into the banks. There's a lot happening around this cryptocurrency, and there's a hell of a lot of catalyst that can get us to $1,000. A lot of people are going to regret the things that they were saying while XRP was still cheap. And Open Eden closed strategic investment round to accelerate growth of tokenized real-world assets. And Open Eden was also funded by Ripple as well. Tokenization is the next big thing in crypto. You see BlackRock talking about it. You know, the World Economic Forum says it's $837 trillion by 2030. So over the next couple of years, trillions upon trillions of dollars in real-world assets are going to be coming on to a lot of these networks. And as that's happening, these cryptocurrencies, they're going to start to appreciate in price. So when people say that based on market cap, you're not going to see these price points, I think they're totally wrong. Market cap does not matter. Utility matters. Moving value matters. Scarcity and demand matters. And we're going to see all of those things coupled together for XRP. Bitcoin's ETFs record worst month since February with $3.5 billion November outflows. So we keep seeing all these outflows on the Bitcoin ETFs. And that, in my opinion, is going to continue to happen. I think these institutional investors got into the Bitcoin ETFs because Bitcoin got first mover advantage once again. But they're already shifting that capital around. The money's leaving the Bitcoin ETFs and it's flowing in to XRP ETFs, Ethereum ETFs, Solana ETFs. And I think we're going to continue to see that happen. And Bitcoin is just going to start to come down in price. But then all of a sudden, we're going to start to watch XRP move up in price, move up without Bitcoin. Eventually, the decoupling will happen. Bitcoin's biggest rally may come right before its biggest collapse. You know, everybody's already talking about the collapse. You see Kiyosaki, he's calling for us to go into a recession for the next 10 years. But he's saying, don't worry, position yourself now with gold, silver, Bitcoin, and Ethereum. Why not XRP? You know, I look at it like this. The one thing that's going to fix the next crisis, financial crisis that happens, it's going to be utility-driven cryptocurrencies. And when that happens, while everything else is plummeting down, we're going to watch the rise of the Phoenix. It was something that we've been waiting for years. And I think we're very close to the rise of the Phoenix now. I always said it's going to happen by 2028. But along the way, the XRP price is going to continue to rise. The SEC is now set to clear tokenization. Once that happens, the boom will begin. Everybody's going to be tokenizing everything. BlackRock is going to lead the way, in my opinion, because they want to capitalize on it early on. All the first movers are going to get that advantage over the people that come in later, all the institutions that lag behind. Heirs, charity, or burn, the ongoing debate over crypto after death. So a lot of people are going to make a hell of a lot of money in this space. And as they're making that money, what they're telling you to do is come up with a plan. This should be added to any game plan when you're a crypto investor. What are you going to do with your crypto if something happens to you? So leaving crypto to heirs, and you got to have them understand private keys. Maybe you leave instructions with the private keys on how they can access that crypto. Donating crypto to charity. I see a lot of people saying that's what they plan to do with their crypto. Other people talk about burning it also. But here's the way I look at it. Say XRP, it went up to massive price points. Why would you burn it? Why not leave it to a good cause? That's the way I look at it. But what we're going to be witnessing very soon is XRP holders getting passive income. So maybe instead of leaving your crypto to your heirs, maybe you keep it out there earning income and you pass that passive income on to your heirs instead. In other words, you set up clear instructions that the crypto you hold stays out there earning liquidity, earning you passive income, earning your heirs passive income. Then their heirs get passive income. You create generational wealth. And maybe you make clear instructions that a certain percentage of that passive income gets reinvested into the asset month over month. This way, if inflation continues to rise into the future, the passive income continues to rise to offset that inflation. Because that's the way I looked at my future with crypto. In other words, my XRP, if I'm getting passive income from it, I'm reinvesting some of that passive income to offset future inflation. But everybody should make this part of their game plan. What happens to your crypto once you're gone? Sony Group plans to issue a USD-linked stablecoin for payments within the Sony ecosystem. I see a lot of talk about this right now. So this stablecoin is not going to leave the ecosystem. It's going to be utilized inside of gaming and so on. A lot of people are already talking about the new Grand Theft Auto, having a crypto economy inside the game. But I think it would be in the form of stable coins. If people are going to earn, most likely that earning would come through stable coins, not so much crypto. Maybe later down the road, crypto would be included. But I think out of the gate, because all the hype right now is around stable coins. And I think Sony is getting ahead of this. Now, if Sony was talking about making cross-border payments with that stablecoin outside of the ecosystem, then they would need a bridge currency, something like XRP, to bridge that stablecoin. I just wanted to clear that up because there's a lot of speculation around this already. People keep saying they're going to utilize XRP within Grand Theft Auto, but there's not even any talk of that yet. There's no facts around that. Everybody's just speculating and hyping it up. But the one thing I know for sure is XRP is going to make a lot of people life-changing money very soon. And you have to have a game plan in this space. One thing you never ever want to do is sell too soon. And I already see people saying that the top is going to come in on this day. It's going to come in on that day. People are already preparing for the top, and then they go on to talk about massive pullbacks. How do you get pullbacks with scarcity and demand? How do you get pullbacks if regulatory clarity gets put in place early 2026? How do you get massive pullbacks if utility starts pushing up the price of XRP and tokenization starts to boom all around the world? Those pullbacks are not going to be very big pullbacks. I see people calling for 80, 90% pullbacks. I'm just not seeing it. I think we're going to go into a prolonged run with utility-driven cryptocurrencies that are going to lead us into the rise of the new financial system. And until it happens, stay patient, stay positive, and let's get rich together. With that said, I'm going to wrap up this video. I want to thank you all for watching. I appreciate all of you. I'll see you in the next one. Have a great night.